I'll call this meeting to order. It is 7 o'clock. The date is March 12th, and this is the Breezy Point regular City Council meeting. Our first order of business is pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody. What a difference a week makes. Last Monday, it was we were head over tea kettle in snow, and so this is a much more nicer day. So our first order is the consent calendar. You have before you the council minutes from February 2nd and the 5th, 2018. And we also have the approval of claims totaling $43,408.11, which includes electronic checks 2008E through 2010E, and paper checks 134130 through 134166. Is anybody would like anything taken off the consent calendar and discussed separately? Councilman Bakken?
No, sir.
Councilman Ball?
No.
Councilman Mitchell?
No.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar as written.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The consent calendar is approved. The next order of business is one that I greatly enjoy and has to do with the issuing of life-saving medals. We do this, I want to say frequently, because we do have some outstanding police officers in the city of Breezy Point. And so at this point, I'd like to have Officer Lorch and Officer Ryber come up. And I got your name right this time.
Yes, you did. I'm seeing it in a different one. Thank you. Ask of myself.
This is an opportunity to recognize these two officers. On December 31st, 2017, paramedic officer Jason Ryber was patrolling the neighborhood of County Road 11 and Timberline Point when he noticed the smell of smoke. And Officer Ryber recognized that this was not the regular smoke that you would get from a wood stove or brush pile, but it had the distinct odor of burning materials. And Officer Ryber quickly located the Rasmussen residence nearby with flames through the roof. Officer Ryber requested assistance and began efforts to rescue the occupants. Moments later, Officer Jay Lorch and Minnesota State Trooper Nicholas Diedrich arrived on the scene. With temperatures hovering around 26 below, they ultimately rescued with the two disabled adults, carrying one to the squad, and additionally the residents' pets were rescued. And this was a very, very significant save from the standpoint of the fire was located in the attic area. The only indication that they would have had would have been when the fire progressed and the roof collapsed on them, because with the fire in the attic, smoke detectors would not have gone off. So this was really significant. And I want to thank these officers personally as well as corporately from the standpoint of it's this type of awareness that we see and that we experience on a regular basis with our officers here in Breezy Point. And I just want to thank you very, very much from the bottom of my heart. And along with that comes the Life Saving Award medal. And it's a beautiful looking medal. And it's a symbol basically of your bravery and the service that you've provided to the city. And we want to thank you again. Okay, thank you. Thank you. next order is the open forum. I'll open the open forum to anybody that would like to bring anything up before the city council, whether it's on the agenda or not. You can come up and address the council. Please give your name and address and tell us what you would like to say.
Another year has come for our aviation days, so I'd like to see if
Cliff Mueller.
Cliff Muller, Breezy Point,
Address?
30360 Airport Road.
There we go.
But we'd like to entertain the thought perhaps of closing one half of Airport Road going north for the car show, which is in conjunction with the aviation days. So I don't know where to start with that, but I'd like to entertain the
Yeah.
closing one lane perhaps.
Right, and basically, there's a process for that, and get a hold of, I think you've already talked with Chief Merschman.
Yeah.
Get a hold of Patrick Rousseau, who's our new city administrator, and I think that could be arranged. We do make those special accommodations.
Yeah, it would just be for that event, perhaps that morning till 4 or 5 in the afternoon.
Yep,
And we can provide signage if we don't have it. Joe said he's got barricades, so.
right,
Our intent was to give the classic cars more room to walk around them. And
sure. Sounds good.
so, and also in addition, I'd like to entertain the thought too that reference to those lots, if we could take into consideration the amount of work necessary to build on those when that time comes for a bid or something.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to come and speak for open forum? None appearing, I will close the open forum. Our next order is the financial report. This is our annual audit that we have, and you have before you the summaries and the financial statements. And at this point, I will turn it over to Molly Thompson from Schlenner Winter and do the presentation.
Would you like me to step up?
Yes, please.
My name is Molly Thompson, as you said, and I am here to present the audited financial statements for the year ended December 31st, 2017. I don't remember if we did something like this for you last year or not, but essentially the two blue documents you have, we kind of combined into this presentation.
Right.
So hopefully it's a little easier to follow instead of flipping back and forth. So, first page in, this is just a little bit of maybe a picture of the audit process. Essentially, we start with your records and we apply different procedures such as inquiry and analytics and detailed testing. And then we issue an opinion on the financial statements themselves. So we are expressing an unqualified or a clean opinion on the city's financial statements on the regulatory or cash basis, which is a basis of accounting allowed by the state auditor's office. The auditor's report does explain that this is a set of financial statements not in accordance with GAAP or accrual-based accounting, but you are going to move there eventually.
Right.
Yes. We also issue a separate report that summarizes our audit results. This is our opportunity as the auditors to let you know if there are any issues or concerns that we found during the audit. So we have no concerns regarding accounting policies, unusual transactions, or alternative treatments of accounting. And then as far as any other issues or difficulties, disagreements, or consultations related to the audit, we had no findings. We feel we have a very positive working relationship with your city management and personnel. We did post some typical adjustments that we do at year end just to remove some payroll-related accruals and do some transfer adjustments for you and the like. So nothing unusual in that area. They're the typical adjustments that we make. The findings that we have in this area, we do have a material weakness finding. We've had this finding for a number of years, and that's because you have so few accountants in your office and everybody has access to all of the accounting software. You have what's called an improper segregation of duties. Nothing unusual for a city your size, nothing unusual that we noted related to that during the audit. And then we also have a significant deficiency, which is a little lesser of a comment, and that's just that we do have to make you aware that we actually drafted the financial statements themselves. And again, nothing unusual with regard to that either. Another part of the audit that we spend a lot of time on is your compliance with Minnesota statutes. So we actually have 6 areas that we test for the city, which is around bid laws, public debt, claims and disbursements, depositories, conflicts of interest, and then of course miscellaneous provisions. And we are happy to report that we found no non-compliance in those areas. The only area that we don't test for your city is TIF, because you don't have any TIF districts. So, all right, some numbers, big picture here. So this first graph, this is just your general fund, so it shows a 5-year trend. Blue is your revenues, red is expenditures, purple is your other, such as transfers between funds, and then green is your fund balance. And we have some nice things going on here. Your blue numbers are going up, which is your revenues, and they generally exceed your expenditures. And then the green is your fund balance, which is the net health of the city, is kind of, you know, I guess it moved up and then we had a little dip, and now we're back up where we were. Compared to your budget, your revenues were very close to budget, expenditures were a little below budget. So all in all, you ended the year fairly consistent over the past 5 years, actually. Another health measure here for your general fund. You actually have a policy in place that your general fund balance should equal approximately 40 to 45% of your operating expenses, and you've met that for the last 5 years. Turn my page here. And then just in terms of cash, on the next page here for a 5-year trend, the last 3 years you've really been trending at about 1.1 million in cash at the end of the year. We do have a schedule in the back that talks about how some of those are set aside for purposes. Some of your other funds, you've also got a revolving capital fund, debt service fund, and some other non-major governmental funds, which essentially is cemetery and the EDA fund. The one thing that stands out a little bit unique here this year is the big purple number, and that represents a transfer in from your general fund to your revolving capital fund. And then just some cash trend analysis over 5 years on these funds. Your revolving capital fund continues to go up every year for the past 5 years. Debt service went down quite significantly. I believe there was maybe a bond refinancing back in 2014. So you probably had some money sitting in there at the end of 13 and then paid that out in 14. And then the non-major funds, again, fairly steady. Your sewer utility fund. So blue represents the operating revenues, red represents your operating expenses, and the purple is your change in net position or your net income or loss. So you'll see very nicely here your operating revenues have consistently been ahead of your operating expenses. Something to always keep a good eye on, because if you get behind, it's hard to catch up in this fund. The blue, or the purple, the big dip here was a big transfer out that was made back in 2014, so that's kind of your odd year. And again, on your sewer utilities, you see the dip in 14 when you had a transfer out, but otherwise kind of a steady little increase for the cash balances in that fund. Another nice health chart here for the city, you'll see that your long-term debt back in 2013 was a little over 4.5 million, and you're down to about 1.5 million at the end of this current year. And then, as I spoke earlier, is sometimes cities look like they have a whole lot of cash, but you've actually got 2 million set aside in your revolving capital cash fund for various purposes listed here on the last page. And you've got sewer fund, you've got about 3.4 million set aside for future improvements as well. So that's really big picture, I know, but if you have any detailed questions, I can certainly take those at this time.
Are there any questions? Councilman Bakken?
No.
Okay. Councilman Ball?
No,
Councilman Mitchell?
No.
I will have to say, our relationship with Schleiner Winter has been excellent. And we really have benefited by you coming in and looking at our books. And I think we've been, hopefully, we've been, reciprocal in
Very much.
keeping everything going, because it's always seems like it's gone very smoothly.
Yep.
So if there aren't any questions at this point, I will entertain a motion to accept the auditor's presentation.
So moved.
Is there a second?
second.
Further discussion?
Comment after everybody votes, if that's okay.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? The audit is accepted. Thank you.
Comment is, hats off to Joe.
Yes.
I mean,
Thank you.
good stewardship and the administration.
This
Good
has been
stewardship.
an ongoing thing, you know, our financial with Janae and now with Carrie has
Yes.
been very, very good, as well as under the leadership of Joe. It has been very good, and the results show it.
Yep.
You know,
Yes,
we're in
and
really good health.
I was going to actually say that, and I appreciate all of Joe's help over the years, and you've done a great job coming on, and very timely in responses and getting us what we need, so very good working relationship.
Thank you.
Means more
Sure.
coming from you.
Yeah,
The bottom line, the city is in good shape.
yes, yes it is. Thank you.
Mayor's report. Bladek contract. This year, or beginning of this year, we decided to start participating in, with Bladek again. And our participation costs are $2,000 for the year. And the costs are split equally between July and December. Tyler Glenn, I see you, okay. He is here to answer any questions we may have concerning our agreement with the organization. And so at this time, Tyler, if you want to come up and talk with us a little bit
Yeah,
about...
thank you, Mayor and Chamber. My name is Tyler Glenn. I am the Economic Development Officer at Bladek. And yeah, just we would love to have your continued support to the things that we do. You know, we are a regionally based economic development group, so we do support all of Crow Wing County. You know, just our efforts obviously are to promote business growth and development in our region, include the need to be progressive and competitive in making sure that we have a community that is expanding business, building community, and continuing to grow jobs. So just a couple of highlights from 2017 with the work that Bladek did. We completed 11 projects, which we have varying levels of what our involvement in projects, from technical support to financing support to if there are opportunities to fund or to write grant applications, we take care of that as well. So with those 11 projects, that brought $29.29 million in capital investments into our region in 2017. And 153 jobs that were projected, and then another 78 jobs that were retained in our region. So we have a lot of things going on. We continue to promote this area, and if anyone has or comes to us with questions about property or expanding businesses and they're looking to this area, we'll work with the city certainly, and anybody in the area to make sure that we provide them all of the assistance that's needed. So any
Is
questions?
there any questions?
No questions. I have a lot of them.
Oh, yeah.
But rather than take up your time and the rest of the folks here this evening, we've got a lot happening
Yeah.
at Breezy Point, as you well know.
I do.
And rather than tax your brain and your time. I'll go through the proper channels and with the administrator, and then we'll see what develops down the road. But I suspect we'll be talking to you
Yeah,
soon.
I appreciate that. We have a
Thank-
lot of,
yes.
we have a lot of avenues, so that's, yeah.
I understand that, and
That'd
we
be
do
great.
too, but
Okay.
we support you very much. Appreciate what you do.
Well, thank you.
Councilman Ball, do you have any questions?
Would you have any examples of some grant applications you've helped with?
So we have, prior to either this year, what we've done is we've been responsible for applying for and getting grants on behalf of the cities. So the city of Brainerd, the city of, whenever those grant applications have come to our request, we have submitted those grant applications. We've also done Job Z grant applications, which now Job Z is going away. So that is one of the avenues. And then we have then in turn created our unified fund. I don't know whether you've been seeing this in the paper or not, but the unified fund is actually monies that from grants, so so Minnesota Investment Fund grants that have been produced for the cities. We have now become the local development organization for those and captured those dollars into our organization so that we can basically eliminate a lot of the red tape that goes with that. So we have got currently just under $2.8 million that's available for funding. So just with regards to the grant applications, we've completed federal grant applications, state grant applications, and then local grant applications as well, and been successful in getting those cities in the area and certainly businesses with those grants.
Is there certain types of projects that typically you would, or are they
No.
all across the board?
What's that?
Or
Sorry.
are they all across the board?
They're all across the board, yeah. We've done everything from, technical support to, most of the or grant applications require us to follow environmental studies, Davis-Bacon, as well as job retention. Almost every one of the grants relies on job creation and job retention. So that's the biggest piece of that puzzle, those grant application puzzles, is always making sure that the jobs that are that the businesses say that they're creating, we have to continue to monitor that, and provide reports back to the state saying that those jobs were created and that the income levels were meeting what the state guidelines say.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Councilman Mitchell?
How do you go about advertising Crow Wing County and the areas for industry and business?
So there's a couple things that we do that we primarily focus on. Obviously, our website is very robust, has a lot of information inside of it. But we also do, we have social media channels that we use. We use, Facebook, we use Twitter, but also with the city, I have to use the city of Brainerd and city of Baxter as examples in this, is that we have completed and advertise on the state on deeds website with regards to shovel-ready sites. So both Brainerd and the Brainerd's Industrial Park, as well as Baxter, the West Baxter Industrial Park, both have shovel-ready sites. And shovel-ready sites means that we've gone through all of the legwork with regards to the state, everything from environmental studies to making sure that all the infrastructure is in place so a business can actually just provide an application and then they're ready to go once they hit the ground. But that application has to be updated annually for the state. There are only 32 sites in the entire state, and in Crow Wing County we have 2 of them. So we have 44 acres and I think there's 22 lots in the Baxter Industrial Park. We have 24 acres and 13 parcels inside the Brainerd Industrial Park. So we do a lot of advertising through deed with those shovel-ready sites, but most of our advertising is done here locally we attend all of the EDA boards within the county. We sit on those boards and advertise for them as well.
How about smaller towns, communities like Breezy and Pequot?
Mostly word of mouth at this point. We're happy to take that to another level if it's requested. We certainly, if there are sites available, we put them out onto our website and we'll advertise them for you as needed. If there are opportunities for us to be visible, we certainly will be visible and promote those areas. When the calls come into our office and someone's asking for a specific area, we give them everything that's at our disposal.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
One question.
Yes.
Do you see much increased in activity due to the 2018 tax cuts, especially on the businesses, as far as having things start to pick up a little bit, at least here in Crow Wing County?
We're getting a lot of questions about expansion.
Okay.
We're getting a lot of questions. Certain businesses from 3 to 4 employees saying we want an additional, maybe they're in the call I had last week was a business that's in a 4,000 square foot facility that wants to go up to 10,000 square feet and add 2 to 3 more employees. Some of the larger manufacturers are talking new equipment, certainly looking at expansion as far as, but we're still dealing with, the biggest issue that we continue to deal with, Mayor, is employees and qualified employees. So we're doing some things certainly with our workforce program that's allowing us to, address some of those issues with the employers directly, and as well as Mike Bierkness, who runs our workforce program, sits on a couple of boards out at the college. And so they're addressing some of those high-tech jobs as well and seeing what they can do and certainly working with the employers to address those issues. But the workforce is always going to be the biggest issue, but I certainly see some expansion coming.
Okay.
Like I said, we're getting a lot of questions about it, and we're hopefully seeing that ramp up in activity.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Good information, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you all.
So at this point, I will entertain a motion to enter into the agreement with Bladek for 2018.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Further discussion?
None.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We have agreed to be with Bladek for 2018. Next item is airport lots. The last meeting, we were missing a couple, so we decided to postpone further discussion on this, as well as Councilman Ball wanted to get a little more information on the appraisals. We do have this information available. So I'm not going to read through the whole memo here from Joe, but it's basically the same thing that we had last month. So how would the council like to proceed? And I'll start with you, Councilman Bakken. What do we so desire? Do we want to send these back out for bid? Do we want to hold line on the appraisal price, or continue and also to throw a little wrinkle into the works here? We did have someone else that was interested in the properties. So,
Question, Mr.
Yes.
Mayor, if I may. I think I can reserve the right to remain silent until I hear the testimony from the other council members, if I may. Because I might take a little bit.
okay,
Thank you.
Councilman Ball.
So, from some of the notes that, Joe, thank you, that you put together, I would suggest, because we have 2 individuals who are interested, to go out and solicit bids, and at this point, I don't think we have enough time to do the April meeting, so then it would be consideration of those bids if we got any at the meeting in May. As far as a minimum bid price, I based on the information with the appraisals, the only based on the comparables, I guess I could go down a little bit from 22,000. That was the price, I believe, right? Or I guess I wouldn't be opposed to going down a little bit to say somewhere around 15,000 as a minimum bid. We put that out there,
Okay.
but those are, I guess, my thoughts.
Okay, so I think what I hear you saying is you would be in favor of sending it out for bid again.
Correct.
Okay. Councilman Mitchell.
I agree. I believe we should lower that minimum to around, in my 15,000, 16. And for the other lots, 46, 47, 48, I'd like to see those lowered as well to maybe 9,000. I think we talked about it last time, that lot 48 is only a partial lot. And I'm not sure that shouldn't be included with 46 and 47. Because of that fact, it's going to be worth nothing if somebody buys 46 and 47.
Okay. So again, what I hear you saying is you'd like to see it go out to bid again, correct?
I believe if there's, when somebody says there's somebody else interested, that's one thing. We have one bid, so we know those people are interested. If we're gonna put up for bids, I don't think we should let it run for 90 days. I'd like to see it for a shorter period.
Thank you.
So we have, so we'll have to determine the minimum bids, and we also have to determine the length of time that we want to have it open for bids. I'd like to read email that I got from Mike Maroney, who cannot be here tonight, and he wanted to express his opinion on the lots. He said, "The appraisals that we have are close to the numbers I think the city should stick with. We are not in need to sell these lots, and as you know, land values will only increase over time. For one to compare the lots that on the other side of the airport road, claiming they are similar in nature, minus access to the airport, is not a fair representation. Anyone can become a member of the airport with or without a lot abutting the airport. That fee would be the same amount to anyone that wants to become a member. Our lot does give abutting access to the airport, which is why the value should be more than the county forfeited land across the street. I can appreciate the interested parties' desire to own these lots, but they should be purchased, sold at market rates. Simply put, I would not be interested in entertaining the offers that have been suggested." And he understands that he's not going to have a vote, and he will abide by the discussion, or the decision of the council. Just wanted to make sure that that is into the record. Okay, so I think we are agreed that we want to send it out for, Councilman Bakken, that's right, you wanted to come back.
Thank you.
You wanted to be silent.
Very much, Mr.
Okay.
Mayor. Bear with me, if you will. First of all, I agree with Councilor Gary on his estimates. Number two, I beg to differ with the Councilor Maroney. Number one, he proposes that we are not in need of selling it. I question that. We've had discussions for years about all our 450 tax forfeited lots. None of us being realtors. Anybody knows that when you want to sell your property, and if you don't, you always think it's worth more than what it is. So, marking time and doing nothing is a waste of the city's time, and in my opinion, a waste in the taxpayers and the tax rolls' time. It's been this way for 25 years. Enough said about that. He talks about comparing lots. Again, value is in the eye of the beholder. The lots across the street, appraised at what, 9,000, 9,500? You make a decision there. And then simply put, I would not be interested in entertaining offers that have been suggested. Well, and something that is important is this, I would like to have him here to debate that with us. Moving on, I see no purpose in dragging this out till May or June or July. In my opinion, that's an exercise in futility and gets us, the city, nowhere. A minimum bid, that's a back and forth. It's like a tennis game. So we've been playing tennis games for 30 years as far as I'm concerned. With that, I have a suggestion. I would be willing to make a motion, Mr. Mayor and fellow constituents, on the sale of the lot. I would like to also expound a little bit on the two lots extremely on the north end. The offer was $12,500. I remember it very well. And this council refused the offer. No counter offer. That was my fault. Citizens, that was my fault. And I went home and licked my wounds and thought about that most of the night. What it did to do? Perpetuate the norm, what's been happening for a long time. Example on those two lots, I know for a fact the gentleman that wanted to develop those lots, the cost, and I believe the airport manager can testify to this. The applicant's cost to fill those lots, just to build them, was $80,000. Hello? And we want what for it? So he walked away. Not surprising, is it? I don't think it makes a lot of sense, and I'm sure a majority of the council members would agree with that. I would hope the citizens do. I personally would have given them away just to get them on the tax roll. Does that make any sense? I stand on it very firmly. With that said, I'm ready for a motion, Mayor, if you so approve.
Well, basically, what I'm seeing here is we basically have two questions. One, do we want to send it out for bid again? And number two, do we want to change the minimum bid? So the first question I'm going to entertain a motion for is, do we want to issue this out for bid? And I'll entertain a motion to that.
So moved.
Okay, is there a second to that?
I'll second
Okay, so for discussion purposes, is there anything more you want to say, Councilman Ball?
From my recollection, there's two individuals who are interested in the same lot.
Correct.
That is why I feel it should go out for bid.
Okay, Councilman Mitchell.
it. Well, I feel 9,500 is a little bit on the low side. On the other hand, he said, she said that somebody else is interested.
Thank you very
is
much.
kind of a weak response. So in my opinion, if we put it up, I would not like to see it go any more than 6 weeks or less, 30 days. So that's my feeling on that.
Okay,
My input, Mr. Mayor?
I'm coming to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Bucket.
I'm opposed to the offer, period. I will not vote for it. And I stand ready to offer a motion that will cure it, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, let me finish we have the motion on the floor right now is to send it out for bid. And I'll call the question on that. All in favor of sending it out to bid, say aye.
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 All opposed?
No,
Okay. The vote would be 2-1 that we would send it out for bid. So the decision is we will be sending it out for bid. So now the next question that we have to ask is, do we want to change the minimum bid amounts? Right now we have the minimum bid amounts for 42 at 22,000. The lot 46 at 12.5, lot 47 at 12.5, and lot 48 at 7.5. Do we want to change those minimum bids? So I'll entertain a motion to, well, let's talk about the bids first before we get a motion. Councilman Mitchell, I'll start with you.
Well, my thought was to lower the 12.5s to 9, and if somebody would meet that requirement, put lot 48 in with that. And I don't know how that could be written up. And on lot 42, I thought the minimum should be brought down to 15,000.
So you would say 15,000 for lot 42
Yes.
and 9,000 for 46 and 47 and lot 48. Essentially, you would say 18,000 for 46, 47, and 48.
That's correct.
Okay. Those sold as a group. Okay. Councilman,
Can I finish?
Yes.
I do agree with Councilman Bach, and in many areas, I do think it is our, the other thing right now is the economies are booming, and the way that situation is, this is a period when we're most apt to sell those lots. 3-4 years from now, it could be a whole different situation. And so, and there's one more thing, forgetfulness comes with age, but
I know.
well, that's it. But I do know that, and I agree with Councilman Bach, and those lots on the end need a lot of work. They are not some,
Not easily buildable.
That's correct.
Yes. Councilman Ball, any thoughts?
I'm in agreement on lot 42. I did not, because the bids were on 42 and we weren't necessarily discussing the other 3 lots. I haven't looked into the valuation of those 3 lots and whether that should be adjusted at all. So I don't really have an opinion as to the other 3 lots, I guess.
The opinion you have on 42?
Correct, is 15,000.
15? Okay.
Yes.
Councilman Baca?
See the blank look?
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering what's happening here.
We've already agreed that we're going to be sending it out for bid again. So now
I haven't agreed to that.
well, you don't have to agree. The council has agreed.
Okay.
Okay? You're outvoted.
Yes, we've
okay.
been there before.
So the question that I'm trying to get on the table now
Yes.
is the minimum bids.
For lots, 47
42.
and 48 now?
Councilman Mitchell, Councilman Ball both agree that the minimum bid for 42 should be lowered to 15,000 and that we should consider 46, 47, and 48 as a package at 18,000.
The minimum bid of 15,000.
Yes.
You're gonna put it out for bids.
Yes.
That's crazy, in my opinion. Pardon the term.
Mhm.
Way overpriced. I won't vote for that. I will ask for an amendment to that motion from the 15,000. Or time period,
Well,
the time period, okay?
Okay, the time period. Okay.
Time period is all.
Okay.
Gary, why do you think it's overpriced?
Because I think it's overpriced. It's that simple. We want to move these lots. I don't want to get into, I've been in Dickering. I had a real estate license in 3 lifetimes ago. I know what it's all about. It's a cat chasing its tail. And now, after being here this number of years, I just as soon not go down that path any longer. So that's my reasoning. Like I said, I'd give them away, and that's a bit of a stretch, just to get them developed and on the tax rolls.
Okay.
This cat and mouse game is foolish.
Yes.
I will make an amendment to the time only.
Okay, so what we have on the, I'm going to call for a motion to change the bids to lot 42, minimum bid as 15,000, lot 46, 47, and 48 to be offered as a package at 18,000. So that's, I'll entertain a motion for that.
Also, I'll make the motion.
Is there a second? No second? Okay, the motion is failing because of lack of second. We still need to come up with a minimum bid.
I can move on 42. I can't make an adjustment to the values on the other 3 lots without more information. I apologize, but I didn't know we were
Have
considering
you
those
driven
3
by them and
lots.
looked at them, Counselor?
No, I haven't,
I
and
suggest
just
you
looking
do.
at the lots, I guess, Garrett,
suggest you do.
wouldn't
Okay.
give me enough information, but I am aware of where they are at.
And I understand that, Rebecca. When you get a chance, go over there and take a good look at those last three.
And I mean, I read the appraisal report for 42, and I looked at that, and that is what I found was helpful to me. But I didn't. we weren't-
Appraisals are not helpful.
There's nothing in the notes that says we're considering the other.
Well, we have offers on 42.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Yes.
Um, Okay, so we have agreed that we want to go out for bid. We've already agreed to that. I'll entertain a motion then to just go out for bid on lot 42. So moved, okay.
Second.
Okay. Discussion, Gary?
I feel that we've discussed it enough.
Okay. Rebecca?
I have nothing.
At the price?
At the minimum price of 15,000.
I won't vote for that. I will make an amendment for it.
Well, we have a,
Very good, call a roll.
we'll call the question. We have the question, the motion is to only consider lot 42 and have it go out for bid at a minimum price of 15,000. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed?
Aye.
The motion is approved to go out for bid at 15,000 on lot 42 only.
Point of order, Mr.
Now,
Mayor?
just a second. Point of order? Go ahead.
Yes. Can I make an amendment to the motion to restrict the time period?
That's going to be the next
You're always
motion.
ahead of me, thank you.
The next question is the
I yield.
length of time do we want to send it out for bid?
I yield.
And I will start with you this time, as far as give me a number that you want to go out for bid, for a time frame.
30 days,
30 days.
no more.
Okay? Councilman Ball?
My only saying was the May meeting is because Joe's notes indicate that the earliest we can publish it, and that was last week, would have been March 15th. That date's probably pushed back now, and so the earliest, we would have had to receive bids on March 27th to get it on the April meeting. So that's why I said we can get it out so we can get it on the May meeting.
If it gets it to May in 30 days, how about 2 weeks? If they want the lot, they're gonna send the money in, they're gonna bid on it, period.
2 weeks is, I think, is a little bit short.
3 weeks. Stretching it out is ridiculous.
Your meetings are, your next meeting, or the May 7th meeting, to publish it, we can't publish it this week anymore.
Okay?
So we have to publish it next week. That gets us into March, what would that be?
How about a special meeting? With the bids in 3 weeks' time?
Well, you could, but I mean, you could.
Thank you.
You could make it in 3 weeks, and then you could still just hold off until the May 7th meeting and make a decision.
How about 21 days from the day of posting? Would that work, Joe?
Yeah,
Yes.
that work for you?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay? So 21 days from the day of posting. Does that
Publication.
sound good for you?
I'm fine
That
with
sound
that.
good for you?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to have the bids open for the bid open for 21 days from the date of posting.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, just further discussion, or we beat this one? Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So the time period will be 21 days from the date of posting. Got it all straight, Joe?
Well, I hope you mean publication.
Publication,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, we're good.
Okay. And then we will table till somebody decides to want to think about it again on lots 46, 47, 48.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
glad that's done.
That's the most discussion I've had since I've been here.
Next order of business is on the day of the storm, March 5th, we held a meeting with, between Breezy Point, and you read about this in the Breezy Brief this week. Held a meeting with the White Birch Development, the city, about the sewer installation for the new North Star Center convenience store and clinic. The meeting was attended by myself, Mike Maroney, WSN, David and Bob Spizo, David Landecker, Joe Zierden, Joe Rudberg, Jerry Bonsek, and by speakerphone was the resort engineer, Jared Ward. The main issue involved dealt with the endpoint termination and the overall depth of the sewer pipe. A compromise agreement was reached, and a proposal will be coming before the council that includes the city paying for the jacking of the sewer underneath County Road 11, and then the developer paying costs, sewer installation within the development. The sewer will extend to the southeast corner of the property and be installed at development depth rather than at minimum grade. This will be accomplished as developer-installed project. To get the City Council, Planning and Zoning Commission, and the public more informed on this project, I will be calling a special workshop for 7 o'clock on March 26th to meet and ask questions with the representatives of White Birch Development and items that will need special attention within the next few months. And these items would be the project schedule and scope, infrastructure interface, public financing incentives such as tax increment financing or tax abatements. And as this will be a public meeting meant to inform, I'm hoping that we can get a member of the press to be in attendance. Obviously, this is going to be a very big project, and I'll entertain any questions that they may have about this meeting. It's going to be a workshop meeting. Planning and zoning will be together. Okay.
None whatsoever, Mr. Mayor. That's the 3rd, the 21st, the 3rd, 21st of this month, 7 p.m., correct?
No, 26th. It's Monday, 7 o'clock.
All right, my compliments to the mayor for his initiative and coordination with that group. Thank you.
Any other questions? So mark it on your calendar for 7 o'clock on the 26th. The next item I wanted to bring up to make people aware was that there is a proposal out to change the ATV ordinance in the county. Previously, ATVs were not allowed on county roads except in a couple special areas. The new ordinance will allow ATVs to be driven on county roads and the shoulders. I think the attempt is to get them to be off of the ditches where they've just been chewing up and making a mess. Crow Wing County has a public comment period opening up, that's open right now, to provide comments on these all-terrain vehicles. My own personal opinion is that having ATVs on the road, on all county roads, which would include County Road 4, County Road 11, County Road 39, at least here in the city, might be somewhat problematic from the standpoint of they will allow the ATVs, but they will not allow golf carts. And we have over 400 golf carts licensed in the city of Breezy Point. So it could be problematic where a golf cart driver sees the ATV cruising down County Road 11 and says, well, why can't I do that? I would encourage you to go to the Crow Wing County website and you go to the link that says Crow Wing Listens, and then you can find the proposed ordinance. And you can make comments. There's email comments, letters. I would encourage people to get involved and let their thoughts be known.
Yes. Can I
Yes.
have a question?
Go ahead. Yes.
Kevin, are you familiar with this proposal?
I've read about it in the news.
And as law enforcement, with all the experience you have, what's your feelings on something like that?
I I think they'd be better on the shoulders. I don't see them as a problem, especially our shoulders are very wide. And they probably would do less damage than they do in the ditch. People are probably gonna wanna buy a different set of tires though, because they don't like tar. They wear them out real quickly.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, I have no questions. I have some comments.
Well, that's what I'm, comments, questions?
Thank you. You have no problem with it, Chief, you're on the record for that?
No, I don't have a problem with ATVs.
Thank you very much. I agree with your assessment of the situation. It's a cat chasing its tail again. We had an ordinance here in our wonderful city at one time, for quite some time, restricting ATVs in the winter and hunting, not in the summer. They tore up the streets, they tore up our cemetery. That's all I have to say. I'm not for the proposal at all.
You have the opportunity to
I shall.
make your,
I will tomorrow.
okay? Let's see. Next item I have is for the council representatives. There is the 40th annual meeting of the National Joint Powers Alliance. Their annual meeting is going to be held on April 11th, and this is the meeting where they honor students with exceptional challenges that have risen to the occasion on each and every occasion. It's a very rewarding dinner to go to. It will be held at 5 o'clock. There is room for one other council member, should you like to sign up. You can see me after the council meeting, and there's one more slot available.
What was the date again, Mayor?
It's April 11th, and they have. I'm already signed up for it, and so there's one more position, and you can bring a guest if you so desire, for $15. So,
Do I have to pay $15?
no,
I'll be your guest.
I've already got a guest planned.
Yeah, I bet you do.
So
Okay,
see me after the council meeting.
I think I will.
Okay. Okay, that concludes the mayor's report. I'll start with you, Councilman Bakken. There was some activity with the Four
Yes.
Corners area. So
Yes, sir.
you can report on that.
Exactly. Well, you've already alluded to the ATV situation in the county. We had our third meeting on March 2nd, and a quick synopsis or analysis of the two subsequent. And the third meeting, it's working very well with the stakeholders. Everybody's cooperating very well. We're getting good cooperation from the county. Tom, I'm sorry. One of the two begins with a T. He's of course very reserved because he has to protect the county, and we understand that. The mayor's been very helpful in his questions, as the administrator has. So they've kind of stolen the show, but I just nod my head. But it's going well. You need to know that. Our next meeting will be Wednesday the 21st at 3 p.m. And at that meeting, Landsberg will be bringing hopefully a plan with a estimate as far as the cost goes, and then the commission will be able, I would say, either at that meeting or the next meeting, make some decisions on how we're going to go about that. Lastly, I lost it. It was important too, Mayor.
I'm sure it was.
See, you got to write things down. I'll think about it and then
Okay.
ask.
If
Okay?
I think about it, I'll get back to
There's
you.
one other thing that I needed to talk about, but it's gone. Suffice to say, it's going well. I'm very pleased with the cooperation that we're getting. End of story.
Councilman Mitchell.
Yes, Heartland Cable Commission met in January. I was not here in February. I was out of state, but but TDS wants to get in the cable business, and they had to go before the commission to get approval. And so it was approved. So TDS is going to get in to the cable TV business. And I got an email just the other day. The commission wants to meet again on April 4th, but there was no statement as to why. So I don't know what that is. But at any rate, TDS is going to go into the cable business.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. The next order of business is the action by the Personnel Committee. We have a compensation policy, and I'll turn it over to you, Rebecca, to give your report as well as get us up to speed on the changes. We'll have to note that depending on which version of the meeting packet you have, we did find a mistake just prior to the meeting on March 5th, which we, due to the fortunate disposition of the snow, we managed to get the errors that we found in the previous compensation plan corrected. And so you have the new updated tables and everything before you tonight. So, Rebecca?
Yeah, so what's before you is the new wage scale. So there's 12 steps. The last two steps, 11 and 12, include an additional step up for what used to, or what would be longevity pay in the past, which we are proposing to take away due to issues with the pay equity test that we have to pass, that the city has to pass every year. And it will also approve, previously we had looked at the job descriptions and approved those job descriptions. There is a change to the description for the finance specialist. We'd also be approving grade changes for some public works workers as well as the assistant public works supervisor. And then the finance specialist will be changing grades as well. The wage plan would go into effect in July of this year. So we'd see some impact there as far as the cost to the city for half of the year for that, moving everybody into the appropriate step that they should fit into, as well as some individuals will have their step increase, as well as some longevity increases that are factored in there. And because of that item that was caught, there is some additional amount that will go over budget for the police department. But when we've talked it over with Councilman Maroney and Joe, administrator, he indicated that we do have the funds set aside in another part of our finances for the city that we could accommodate this in 2018 as opposed to pushing it off to 2019 where it would still be a similar cost. And so it'd just be pushing it out further.
Any questions to Rebecca as far as the pay plan?
No.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 1804 that approves the compensation plan.
So moved.
Second? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The Resolution 1804 approving the compensation plan is approved. One thing I did forget in my mayor's report was this is Joe's last meeting. And I'd like to, take this time to thank Joe very much for the time that he has spent here in Breezy Point. It's been wonderful having you here. We have literally straightened everything out. I mean, the city's running so well now.
Amen.
It's running very well, and we want to thank you very much. There will be basically a combined reception on the 15th Thursday the 15th at 12:30 to welcome Pat Wusso, our new city administrator, and to say goodbye to Joe. So that will be Thursday at 12:30, right here in City Hall. So, welcome everybody, please come.
Catered from Prairie Bay?
Absolutely. Catered from Costco. Again, thank you, Joe, and we'll have more to say on Thursday.
Well, thank you, it's been a pleasure.
Yes,
I really enjoyed Breezy Point.
very good.
It's been fun.
Yes. Thank you again. And welcome, Pat. For all of you who have not met Pat Wusso, he's our new city administrator. This is his first day, so he's thrown into the fire here. And
Baptism by fire.
Glad to be here, thank you.
Just one thing, he doesn't smile enough.
We'll loosen him up.
And if you have the old packet, there's a petition for vacation of the right-of-way in Cash Circle that has been withdrawn, so we will maybe see this at a later date. That was Resolution 1805. So if you're noticing that 1805 is missing,
Yep.
don't worry about it. It may come back later, or it may not. Next order is the designated signatory. This is in conjunction with the changing of the administrator clerk treasurer. So we have to change all the signature cards. And that is basically what the document that you have there in front of you. So I'll entertain a motion to accept Resolution 1806 for the changes in signatures.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor of adopting Resolution 1806, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, 1806 is approved. Next order is hire part-time peace officer. The department recently lost one of our part-time officers who was hired full-time by the Nisswa Police Department, and we've been seeking a candidate to replace Todd Szymanski in that position. Because of the number of shifts this individual will fill, we looked for someone who needs minimal training. Luke Hamilton has left full-time employment with the Nisswa Police Department, and he wishes to retain his peace officer's license. And Luke has passed most of his post requirements, and the remaining will be completed very soon. Our policy is to place the part-time officers at the beginning of the peace officer rate, where they remain with COLA advances. I will entertain a motion to approve the hiring of Luke Hamilton as a part-time peace officer.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Councilman Buchan?
No, sir.
Councilman Ball? Councilman Mitchell? And
Chief's happy.
Chief, do you have
I'm happy.
anything further to say? Thumbs up. Okay. All those in favor of hiring Luke Hamilton, say aye.
Aye.
Luke is hired. Welcome, Luke. Sale of the 2002 Ford Explorer. This vehicle was originally a squad car and was given to Public Works for its use. It's been in service since that time and will be replaced by a 2010 Jeep squad car when that replacement squad is brought into service. The city received 6 bids for the Explorer. They are shown on the sheet you have there. The highest bid was for $2,100 from Kelsey Shannon. I'll entertain a motion to sell the Explorer to Kelsey Shannon for $2,100. And if she declines once the offer is made, then the next highest bidder is Liz Schiller, who would be offered the purchase. Entertain a motion to that effect? Second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And that completes our order of business for tonight. Meeting's adjourned.